The Writer's Dossier podcast is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network.
No writers were harmed in the production of this podcast.
Hi, my name is Joel Nedecky, and this is my Writer's Dossier.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Writer's Dossier. I'm coming to you live here from the Dossier Speakeasy and Writer's Room, and you can tell if you're looking on YouTube, you know exactly what we're talking about here. So I am here today with my friend from up north from Canada, Joel Nedecky. Dude, thanks for joining the Writer's Dossier podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You betcha, man. Hey, so there's so much I want to get into, but I want people to understand things about you. We're going to talk about your book a little bit. And I told you earlier, I'll do my best not to end this podcast with my own Canadian accent, but I'm a master of accents, like my friend Emma Dare out there. Emma, thanks for listening. So there's that. But seriously, dude, you crushed it. The Broken Detectives coming out from Run Amok Books. When does that come out?
It comes out October 15th. So I guess exactly, would that be about 4 weeks? 4 weeks from today. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm very excited.
You should be, because I got to tell you what, folks, I'm in chapter 1 and I'm like, holy crap, I can't put this thing down. And I trying to remember the first sentence. It was perfect. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I look for. And folks, if you're out there listening and you're looking for a crime novel, one that just jumps right out the page, in page 1, in chapter 1, it's something like, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. I walked into the Prairie Credit Union with a hangover and a headache or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. I walked into Prairie Credit Union at 10 a.m., hungover and completely broke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that
you
right
got
there.
It close. Yeah.
It's such a short sentence and says so much. I was in from the first sentence. And the more I go through this whole chapter, I'm like, holy crap, you did a fantastic job of laying things out in these breadcrumbs that just make you want more and more. It's like me at a buffet. Okay, so
yeah,
nice job.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for saying that. No, I appreciate it. With the first chapter, I was really trying to, I guess, let the reader know Jake a little bit about his life and what he does, how he lives, and then also get the primary problem to the reader as quickly as possible, that this is a guy who he needs money, right? He's going to prison and he's going to be going away for at least a year. And he has a mom who you meet her at the end of chapter 1, I guess, very briefly. She's, for a number of different reasons, she can't really take care of herself. So he financially supports her. And when he goes away, he's not going to have any income. So he has to, as quickly as possible, make enough money to support her.
Dudes, how long did you go over that first sentence or the first couple sentences? I'm not getting into this whole pantser plotter or how do you develop your character stuff. That's not what we do here at the Writer's House. But did you comb over that over and over and over? Or do you finish a chapter and move on, finish another chapter and move on and go on and then go back? Tell us about that first couple sentences.
I'm a really fast drafter. Like I will write and I will not go back until I go through the entire thing. But once I do that, I rewrite a lot. So that sentence, it took me a while. I do think there's something to the myth of the first sentence, especially in crime fiction. There are some really famous examples. If you go online and you search people like James Crumley, like, you know, the famous James Crumley, who I remember his first sentence in one of his books, and it was about something about an alcoholic bulldog sitting at the bar and he was drinking the afternoon away, you know? And it stuck with me. So I really try to open strong and I guess catch the reader's attention right away.
Well, you really do in this, folks. And out there, it's called The Broken Detective. It's out in a couple of weeks. So it'll be out right around the time this podcast is coming out. We'll be blasting it out on social media. The Broken Detective by Joel Nedecky, Run Amok Books. Our friends there, they did a really good job picking you up and getting this book out there. Really excited. This is your debut, right?
Yeah, it's it's my first novel. I've had a bunch of short stories published at different places and whatnot, some online, some in actual print. And this is my first full length.
Yes, you have. In fact, we have some detail here. I want people to get to know you. Folks, look him up. We'll get the social media credits and the show notes, but you've written for Punk Noir, Urban Pigs Press. That's fantastic right there. And Guilty Crime Story Magazine. You've been award nominated for the Brooklyn Detective. It's fantastic. And like I said, I want people to get to know you. So tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
yourself. You're a teacher. What do you
sure.
teach besides, and don't use the words hockey, maple leafs, or syrup? Go.
Okay, I won't. I don't teach any of that stuff. I teach high school English. Kind of cliche, but I guess it works. The book, The Broken Detective, has been sort of around for a while. Like, it was nominated for Best Unpublished Manuscript by Crime Writers of Canada in 2023. So that was in May of 23, and then it took a few months for me to find a press that I thought was a good fit. And then it was near the end of 23, actually, where I signed the contract with Run Amok. And, since then, it's just been a lot of first waiting and then just editing and getting everything else together. So it's taken a while, but it's here now, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, we had Krista Winsheimer from, just off the top of my head, this is a couple years ago, from Run
Yeah.
Amok Books on there. Did she work with you?
Yeah, she is the editor I worked with on this book. So yeah, she's great. A lot of her attention to detail is precise. It's actually unbelievable. Like, I think I'm good with detail, but not at this level. So she definitely contributed to what the book became.
What was your experience like? Just like with her specifically, did she remember things from like chapter 4 that you screwed up in like chapter 13? She's like, hey, you already said this, or wait, it conflicts with stuff. Did she conflict a lot of stuff? Is that what really surprised you about her attention to detail and accuracy and information to get it right?
Yeah, and it's just, there's a couple things for me, just learning as I go, like the continuity of a story, and just, if the weather is one way in this chapter and then you move to the next and it's a continuation of the same day, you have to make sure that everything matches. And sometimes it's characters saying one thing and then later on you have to pay that off, something, you can't leave something hanging. You gotta make sure it's paid off later in the story. And just little things too, like if you're going to talk about 10 a.m., you have to make sure it's formatted properly and the a.m. is the same later on when you're using a.m., or with money and with all those little details of the text. It all has to be consistent. So sometimes that stuff doesn't occur to me, and she makes sure it's all.
Well, that's fantastic. Big shout out for Krista there. She's in the writer's dossier under the editor section that we have. So we have a lot of first time writers and a lot of unpublished writers who I've met at different conferences and who follow the dossier and watch the podcast. Tell us about your experience as a debut author. Like you mentioned, this won a really nice award in 2023, but it's we're at the end of 2025 right now. So tell, if you can help out the other writers out there, if you can send the elevator down a little bit and give a little bit of advice based on what you've learned on how they can maybe do some things.
I think the biggest thing for me that's helped is just to connect with other writers. So as much as possible, read other writers' short stories, comment on the short stories, post about their short stories, connect with them. I email people out of the blue. Sometimes I read their book, I like it, I just say, hey, you know what, I just finished your book, here's what I think, it's great, and just connect with people that way. One of the big things for me is last year in 24, actually about a year ago, I got invited to a reading in Vancouver. So on the west coast of Canada, I got invited by another crime writer named AJ Devlin. Super good guy, great writer. And at that event, which was a Noir at the Bar event, I met like people like Sam Weeb, for example, who has released so many great crime novels. People like JT Siemens, who just won an award in New Orleans at the most recent awards that were there, and just people who I've become friends with. I stay in touch with them. Some of them blurb the book. Some of them we go back and forth sharing manuscripts and things. And I think if I was going to give advice, that's what it would be: is just connect, find your people, and it'll energize you, I think, is and help you become a better writer too.
I cannot disagree with that. In fact, I applaud it as loudly as possible. Going to conferences, getting on panels, talking to writers, interacting on social media, all of those things really have gone a long way to help. And so the Writer's Dossier has been a part of that. We're glad to have you in there. Is that how you got the Todd Scott blurb or the Matt Phillips blurb? I know Matt's in the dossier. He wrote a short story for me for an anthology we have out called Myopic Duplicity. So Matt's a great dude.
Yeah.
How did you meet those guys and get those blurbs? Because a lot of new writers out there are trying to get some traction and get some blurbs. How'd that work out for you?
With Matt, it's funny how life works. But with Matt, I actually read a book of his. I can picture the cover and I can't remember the name. And this was
A Good Rush of Blood.
It wasn't A Good Rush of Blood. No, that one came after when I knew him a little bit already. Yeah, that one came after. This was earlier. Yeah, this was quite a ways back. And I just
way back Time Machine for Matt.
Yeah, way back Time Machine. I just told him, hey man, your books are great. And he was gracious about it. And he had a podcast going at the time too. And I was on his podcast a couple times. We were just chatting about books and movies and things. I read an early version of A Good Rush of Blood. He's done the same for Broken Detective. So that's how we connected. J. Todd Scott is an interesting one because he's done really well. He's published some books that have sold well, and he's doing some great things in his writing career. And he was one who I just connected with again, just through social media. And
wow,
I asked him if he could read the book, and he said, maybe, like I'm busy and, I'll see what happens. And he messaged me a little while later and said, I started reading it. I like it. I'm going to do it. So it was really that simple. It happened quite quickly.
See, that's just it out there for people who want to get some attention to their book. If you have a banger of a first couple sentences like that in that chapter, I'm serious. I could not.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I really was, because I get a ton of requests. I'm already 20 interviews deep on people I've got to get recorded and edited, and I'm doing a book launch right now. I stopped what I was doing, and I have a full-time job and 2 dogs and a cat, which, by the way, if anyone out there wants a cat, let me know. That's beside the point. I stopped what I was doing, and The Broken Detective, great title. Let's just start there. I mean, Run Amok Books, you got a good place. You got Krista, fantastic editor, and a banger of a first. So I'm not surprised that someone as busy as J. Todd Scott is, because he's doing film and all kinds of, screenplay stuff. He's a busy guy, and we're all busy. But I'm telling you, folks, you get out there and you get into this book, you're going to be like, holy crap, I can't stop. Reviewers say that all the time, and I don't really look at myself as a reviewer. I just present the options that are out there for you. And Joel Nedecky, dude, you nailed it.
Well, thank you so much. Those are very kind words, and I appreciate them all. I think with this book, it was a story that was in my head for a long time, and I maybe didn't have the ability to write it when I was younger. And then as I got a little older and maybe changed a little bit and matured, I felt like I could finally sit down and actually write something, and to get it out there in the world and to hear you say that, I really appreciate it.
Hey, dude, right behind you, and for folks who are watching on YouTube, on the top shelf, there's a Penguin Random House cardboard box. Every writer loves to see that. What's the story with that box?
That would just be like, we order books here all the time just for our classes. So they come from a local bookstore here in the city of Winnipeg. And when we get them, they're often from the publishers, and they have this one, I guess, was just Penguin Random House in it right now. I don't even know what's in it. Actually, it's probably just an empty box, but it's sitting there.
Dude, it's a fantastic prop to have behind you on a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It fits.
Are we going to see anything about Jake in a follow-up book? Come on, what's the deal there?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
The sequel's done.
Woo!
The follow-up is done. Yeah, it hasn't been looked at by anyone yet, so no one at Run Amok has seen it yet, but it is done, and I've done a couple drafts of it, so it's in decent shape. It's going to need some work for sure, but yeah, I would love to do a second book with Run Amok. Nothing but good things to say about Vern and the group over there. I think the thing I like most about is I just like their books. Like with Matt, for example, like A Good Rush of Blood. It's a great book, and that's kind of what really made me want to work with them.
Paging Run Amok Books, Vern, Krista, get going on this sequel. And hey, when you're ready, send me a couple of those first pages, man. I can't wait to see
absolutely.
how those fly off the page. So hey, you mentioned earlier, and seriously, I can't applaud it enough. Getting out there, getting to know people, making connections, and in person is great. I hope you can make it to VoucherCon in Calgary next year. I would love to meet you in person. Between now and then, how can people find you on social media? Like, what's the one that you use the most?
My website's J Nedecky, just the letter J, Nedecky.com. And from there, all my socials are listed. I'd say the one I I probably use most is Instagram. For whatever reason, it's the one that I click with. But I'm on X, I'm on Blue Sky, a little bit of Facebook, not a lot, but Instagram and X are probably the two where I'll always be checking.
Okay, cool. Because we're gonna blast this out on all those all those platforms that you mentioned. So we're gonna tag you, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Last question, man. It is September 24th at 5 p.m. here. What's the temperature in Winnipeg?
We are having unseasonably warm temperature right now. Today it is like 25 degrees above.
Give me some American temperature.
Fahrenheit, that's probably what, like around 80 maybe?
Yeah. No, I lived in Europe for about 5 years. I get it now. No, 25 is beautiful, especially for this time of year. So
77.
All right, you're going to have a book launch here coming into the fall. So you're going to be trudging through 3 feet of snow, going from library to bookstore to book club, selling your book for the next 6 months. So we can't wait to catch you on that tour. But Jake, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being you and what you've done. And we're really super excited here at the Writers Dossier to find out what's going to happen next and follow the next year of your career. And good luck on book 2, my man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Once again, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
There you go. Joel Nedecky, folks, jnedecky.com. Follow him on Instagram. And if you want to follow him on X, Blue Sky, or Facebook, definitely scoop that up. But get this book. You'll thank me. That's it. Dude, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Woo!
The Dossier Podcast is a production of The Idea Academy.